everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Motorsport. Of course, the Singapore Grand Prix happened last weekend, so this is, of course, the F1 Debrief. And I just want to give a big warm welcome to my co-host tonight, Alex. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Well, of course, like I just said, Singapore Grand Prix, and what a Grand Prix it was. It started off a bit slow, with drivers having to manage their tyre wear and car under the the heatness. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. But what a race for Sainz. Care to comment?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was a very weird race, wasn't it? It wasn't full pace at all, which probably explains why I went for a little bit longer than probably, was estimated to. But it was nice. It was refreshing to see a Ferrari back on top.
Oh my God, yes. About time. We've had it coming for so long. We could have potentially had it in Monza, but then Verstappen, being Verstappen, decided to ruin that. But this time around, we finally get it. And what a drive from Carlos. He was indeed the smooth operator this time
100%.
around.
That was the smoothest operation, probably from a Ferrari driver in a while.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I can't remember the last time a Ferrari led start to finish. Probably what, Charles Leclerc at Monza?
It has.
He battled with Hamilton that day though.
It's been too long, basically.
It's been too long. Yeah. No matter what we say, it's been too long.
The fact that it's also, I got to mention, this is hard to believe, but this is Carlos's first win for Ferrari as well, considering he's been doing well for the last Grand Prix.
Didn't he win Silverstone last year?
No, don't think so. Pretty sure he did anyway. Could be wrong, but
I think this was a second win, wasn't it?
He did win in a McLaren. Let's have a look. Back chat.
Hang on. I swear that's a second.
It's his second. I'm pretty sure it's his second. I've loaded up the 1950 British Grand Prix.
Last year, 2022. He won.
Right. Good night, guys. Thanks for joining the F1 Debrief.
We get our stats completely wrong.
Okay.
That was the second win.
Okay. Well, in that case. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Either way, good win from Carlos Sainz. First win of the year for Ferrari. Yeah. Nice. But seriously, what a way to do it though. He managed to make the one-stop strategy work. Conserve the tyres, the hard compound really early on. So he had some space to speed up a bit towards the end and hold off the two very quick Mercedes. Chasing them with the mediums
for a while.
No, it has been a hot minute. It's crazy that we're 16 races into the year and finally a Red Bull hasn't won.
Yeah.
But at the start, though, I was worried that the race was going to be a bit boring with the tyre wear because...
it did look that way.
Yeah, but thank God the safety cars came out and Mercedes did change their strategies a bit, because what they did, I don't know if you know, but they kept an extra set of mediums like for the whole weekend for the race.
Yep.
And it obviously paid off for them as well, which is really good. And I reckon if let's say in a couple laps, let's say if the race was a bit longer, I reckon Sainz might have been in trouble, but the mediums were slowly giving up as well though.
Yeah, it was hard one to judge because definitely you could see the Mercedes had the pace. They just didn't have the track
position.
Track position. Yeah, track position.
Yeah,
so I think that's the only reason that they didn't win.
Well, I reckon if Hamilton probably qualified a little bit better, it was more towards the front end, because he also made that mistake at turn 1 where he ran off and he was actually forced to give 2 positions back, which
that was right at the start.
Yeah, so that sort of
He was
delayed him a
always on
bit.
the he was always on the back pedal though compared to Russell's, because the whole
Mm.
race he was trying to keep up. And that's been honest, he did at the end, but during the first stint, Russell just, as soon as they swapped positions, Russell just took off.
Oh yeah. Russell was really good in that stint. But towards the end, though, he did actually. Hamilton was faster in that final last few laps.
Yeah,
But throughout the majority of the race, though, Russell was the quicker Mercedes, I reckon.
yeah, no doubt.
But in saying that, what we'll do. We'll go through the race results and we'll work from there. So obviously, Carlos Sainz started first, finished first. First win for Ferrari for the year, not for Korea. Let's not get into that.
As we've worked out already.
And personally, it was a champion drive. That's what you do. Like you see smart drivers that win championships do something like that. Like he was really smart to not just to conserve tyre wear, but also hold the field back and make it congested so it would be hard for everyone else to pit and then come out. And Ferrari did that as well because they used Leclerc basically as a sacrificial pig. With that, he was forced to create a gap between him and Sainz, and in doing so, Russell was able to catch up to him, sort of thing. And unfortunately, I would love to see Leclerc up there with Sainz, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
It also was disappointing that he couldn't keep up, or the strategy kind of screwed him a little bit, because he finished 21 seconds behind Lewis. Like that's a long way, and he only just held off Verstappen.
I reckon if he was able to, I don't know if they had a medium left. If they pit for mediums when the Mercedes did, I reckon that would have helped him a little bit, because it was a virtual safety car after all.
Yeah, that's true.
But who knows? But unfortunately, it is what it is. But still, fantastic to see a Ferrari win, though. I'm happy about that. And what he did with Lando at the end, giving him DRS, was pretty fun as well, which is pretty smart.
Yeah,
because he used Lando. They worked together basically to get away from Mercedes, which is pretty clever.
Yeah, and it worked up until the end.
Yeah. That's it. And speaking of Norris, he started fourth and finished second. He did drive very well. He also did very well conserving tyres in the end there. And of course, he's got the new upgrades this weekend as well.
Yep.
Which looks to help, and also their stealth livery, which is a bit lighter.
Man, I reckon they should run that all year. I reckon it looks amazing.
Oh, it looked beautiful. I loved it, especially at night.
Yeah. I actually reckon it'll look really good in the day, actually. Because at night, it's just all you see is the orange. But they're going to run it again this weekend, right?
I'm not too sure, but I hope they do, because
I'm pretty sure they're running it for this week and next week. Double check that.
Tell you what, though,
he drove very well, considering that he took every opportunity that he had. Yeah, it was a great drive.
Yeah, and about the liveries, they've had some really good liveries this year, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Too many favourites, but I do love the Silverstone one where they had the tribute to the old McLaren.
Yeah, and just confirming, it is going to be this week as well.
Very good. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in day.
Yes, and we actually in Australia here don't even need to wake up late or stay up late, sorry, to watch the race this weekend, because it's in Japan. I think it's like 5:30.
That's why I love the Japanese Grand Prix, because you get a good night's sleep as well.
Yeah, exactly. Which for me is very handy, and yourself. But moving on to Lewis now. I reckon he
Sounds
was good. I mean, he just really sat back and watched. Really,
pretty much, yeah.
and somehow gained 2 spots.
Yeah, like we said, of course he started 5th, ran wide at turn 1, gained the 2 spots, lost them again, had to give them back. I reckon, he had a quiet race for the majority of it. Like you said, he was there, but from a distance in a way.
And
but
he was always there. He just stayed there,
yeah,
chilled at the back, and managed to grab 2 spots from Charles and, well, unfortunately, George. But he was very consistent, I would say.
That's it, yeah, and he did really well with the mediums, like we mentioned earlier. That was a smart decision by Mercedes. That's why they've won so many world championships, is because they are just that smart.
100%. It would have been interesting to see if they had, kind of sacrificed one car to see if they would last to the end.
Well, in a way,
not
they did.
Hitting under here. I mean, yeah.
Not planned though.
Unintentional sacrifice.
But we'll get into that.
You know what I mean? Like, they probably would have ended up where Charles was, but maybe still stuck with the top 2.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. Like I also said before, like, give it an extra couple of laps and he would have at least gotten P2 or P1. But if he was as fast as George in that stint, like that other stint, he definitely probably would have been in contention for the win today.
Yeah, that was a thing though. Lewis specifically, he was not as quick. So I think everyone tire saving managed to keep up, allow him to keep up. Whereas, in qualifying, we saw that he was a fair bit down on the top 3. So, yeah.
And also, we'll get into Alonso soon, but after his disaster of a weekend, Hamilton moves up to 3rd in the championship now as well.
Okay. No, you get to know that.
Yeah, so not good for Alonso, but, pretty decent for Hamilton. But now moving on to Charles Leclerc, started 3rd, finished 4th. Like we said before, he was Ferrari's sacrificial lamb. He was told to create a gap.
I think they overplayed that a little bit.
I reckon. Like, they were talking about he wanted a 5-second gap and stuff like that. And
see, 5-second gap to me is kind of... let me just say this. Asking for a 5-second gap for Leclerc to be behind Sainz when a pit stop should only take 3 is a little bit embarrassing in my eyes, because you only need a 3-second window to do a stop, and that's almost a bad one, actually. 3 seconds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So asking for 5 was a bit... Well, that cost him in the end, because Norris literally jumped him by an inch. And didn't the same happen to Russell?
Yeah, and speaking of pit stops, when that safety car came out, you know how they all pitted. He had to almost double stack Ferrari, but luckily that gap, they were able to get away with it. But unfortunately, Leclerc actually got held up in pit lane due to the traffic, which basically in a way ruined his race. That's
the thing, though. He only waited for Lewis. So that's what I'm saying. If that gap was 3 seconds versus 5, he would have gotten out before Lewis, after Norris and Russell, and got in between. Maybe he may have lost out to Russell, sure, but I think it would have definitely come out in front of Norris, because that Ferrari pit bay is behind McLaren's. So Norris would have then had to have waited.
If he was better off double stacking, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
he would have lost less time.
Even though I'm a Ferrari fan, it wouldn't be a Grand Prix without a pit stop mistake.
So it is Ferrari after all, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, this and last year, they're quite prone to it. So they're just following in their own footsteps, really, I think. And that's what cost them the race. Charles had a very lonely race after that. So
yeah, he did, didn't he? I don't know. I can't remember the gap for the life of me, but
well, he ended up 21 seconds behind Lewis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He fell back heaps. Obviously, it sounds to me like he didn't have the pace as much as Carlos would have had, but
Mm.
I think it was more tyre wear based on anything else.
Yeah, they should have gambled with the mediums, like I said, with like similar to Mercedes, like just see how he goes, because there was even though I think if I'm reading this right, Verstappen was really close behind. I reckon if he was on a set of mediums, he would have gotten away from Verstappen, at least anyway.
Yeah, at the end, because the Ferrari pace was so much better than the Red Bull's pace.
Especially this weekend anyway. So speaking of
the devil, literally.
Max Verstappen started 11th and finished 5th. Good recovery, I got to say. Considering his car was awful, he did well.
It was not great. Christian Horner didn't say much, which
surprising.
That's no surprise. He doesn't say much on a good day, let alone a bad one. Look, 5th place from 11th with a crap car. Credit where credit's due, but it is Max Verstappen. And, you look at his teammate, he finished 8th. So, it's another case of Sergio versus Max. And Max
it's still... yeah, exactly. It's still... And also, speaking of that, it's a 20-second or so gap between the two of them as well.
Yeah, which is what normally Max wins by anyway.
Yeah, so this didn't really help. This was a good opportunity for Sergio to blame it on the car this time around, but unfortunately the gap is still the same.
So even the first stint, he couldn't get past Oscar Piastri, let alone anyone else. Actually, he got overtaken by Piastri.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and
meanwhile, Max went from 11th to what was it, 7th by the pit stop phase.
I think.
Safety car?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
and then,
he went up, and Sergio just stayed in 13th.
Yeah. But but thing is though, with Red Bull, they chose not to pit under safety car, which eventually did cost them.
Yeah, they couldn't though, because they had the hards on.
Yeah, it's damned if they did, damned if they didn't. They wouldn't.
They would have been screwed either way.
Exactly. Yeah, and
yeah.
So it was just that was basically just bad luck, unfortunately. But
yeah, they had to gamble. When you're at the back of the field and you think you don't have much, all you can do is gamble to try and get up. I mean, all they did, and everyone, can talk about their strategy all day long, but they just did any other strategy that Williams would do each week or Alfa Romeo. They just gamble, And
that's what you got to do sometimes.
Well, in some cases, all the time. I've never seen Bottas start on the same set of tyres as everyone else. He's always gambling.
Yeah, like I was looking. He was on. I'm pretty sure he started on the softs as well as Leclerc. I think Leclerc did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
it didn't really work out for them anyway. But
no, I don't even want to talk about Alfa Romeo there. I don't know what's going on with them this year. But anyway,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Might take a while, but yeah. 6th place Pierre Gasly. He was just kind of on his own sim a little bit as well. He just kind of followed everyone.
Yeah, he started 12th, got a decent result.
100%. Him and Oscar. We could probably combine them two because they were right behind each other the whole race.
Yeah.
Those two are the man of the match performances.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially Piastri from 17th.
Yeah, he gained
especially first time.
Yeah, first time at Singapore too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, which is
F2 doesn't race there, does it? Do they?
I don't think so. I can't remember for life, but I don't think he did.
No, but no, he would have done plenty of sim work. But he's performed very well. To be honest, the first couple of rounds, I thought, oh yeah, here we go. Alpine's gonna laugh at him all year. But then the car got better, and he got a lot better. Oh
yeah. I was the same. I was like,
because when him and Lando finished 18th and 19th or whatever it was at Bahrain, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a terrible season. They're gonna mock him like no tomorrow. But here we are, and we're talking about them he almost had 2 podiums this year. He finished 4th twice.
Yeah, and he did actually get a sprint podium.
And that's Spa. He finished 2nd.
But we don't talk about the fact that they crashed. Yeah, he did. And also, I want to point out as well, he doesn't have upgrades like Lando yet, as well.
Yeah,
So
even
that
better.
McLaren was slower. So
But I think the real test will come this week for them because it's a track. Well, it's very different to Singapore for starters.
very.
Well, they were very successful at Silverstone, weren't they?
They were. That was their turning point.
Yeah, and that's semi-similar to Suzuka. Suzuka probably a bit faster. But in terms of the track, I think they'll do well this week, and I won't be surprised at all if Lando or maybe even Piastri get a podium again.
Look, I would love to see that. I'll be happy.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be great if, Verstappen and Perez do a Prost and center at turn 1, and then, whoever wins.
Or even better, a Verstappen. So that Lando can win.
Yeah, 100%.
He seriously deserves to win. The amount of P2s he's been getting, you might as well call him Sean Alesi.
Yeah, at this point. But hang on, let's move. Oh, we're going to talk about Sergio Perez, don't we?
Yeah. We did. We'll quickly go.
I want to get to the driver after that.
Yeah, me too. But all right, let's quickly brief over the one that he'll probably end up replacing one day. Sergio Perez had average weekend. He wasn't fast enough. The car was garbage. He also had a few tangles with Albon and Tsunoda, which led to Tsunoda and Albon's retirement. No, did Albon retire? I can't remember.
No, Albon didn't.
No, but Tsunoda did.
Tsunoda, yeah. The Tsunoda one was weird because on first glance, I got to do some research on actually why he retired. But on first glance, he just had a puncture.
Yeah, I never really actually found that out.
Because the car had no damage per se. I mean, unless there was something underneath that the team saw. Sure.
I don't know because
the fact that Sergio was involved in that is. It's quite daunting, honestly. Like, you're in a top car. Yes, the team had a bad weekend, but he's never been up with Max since round 4. So, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be there next year, but we'll see what he can produce in Japan.
I have a few theories, and I'll get to that at the end. But
yeah, do that later on.
Just remind me.
Sure.
But let's get on with the man of the day, besides from Carlos Sainz. Right. Liam frickin' Lawson.
They say that the driver of the day is the person with the most positions, so you give that to Piastri. But, I mean, come on. This kid, points at the Singapore Grand Prix is hard to come by, let alone if you're in an AlphaTauri, let alone if it's your third Grand Prix. Like, that's insane.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad he's been given a chance now to show.
Yeah.
And
they did announce today, that Ricciardo is going to keep his spot. But I really hope that that he gets a call from Williams next year.
I can see that happening.
So can I, because they did the same thing with De Vries. Obviously, hopefully that doesn't, De Vries got a contract after a really good, fill-in role is what I meant. So hopefully Liam lasts a little bit longer than he does. But I think he has the potential to. Honestly.
I think, well, that's it. The difference is De Vries really only got that one race with Williams. I think it was that one.
Yeah.
And got points. Yay. But Lawson's, it's his third race now. He's getting that experience. But if he does go to Williams, I don't think they're going to kick him out like Red Bull might. Because Red Bull's got a reputation for that, whereas Williams, they still at least keep someone for a season.
That's true. And also, I don't know about you, but I don't really feel that Logan Sargent even deserved a seat to begin with.
No.
That's just me. Based on his stats and what he did in F2, it wasn't outstanding. I think there's a few drivers in F2 now who would be ahead of him. However, he did get a top 10 qualifying in the Netherlands, but 10 minutes later he crashed, so that was back to normal proceedings. Yeah, I really do think, though, the commentators were saying, David Crofty was saying, he'd be very surprised if he's not in a Williams next year, nor would I. And honestly, I think that'll be really good for Williams. I think that he'll probably get some more points alongside Alex for once.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. And basically, if that does happen, it will be, in a way, a three-way battle for Perez's seat. I can see if Ricciardo, because there are talks that Ricciardo could end up in a Red Bull. Tsunoda, well, lately he hasn't really had the best result.
This is the problem. So, yeah, we'll talk about it later, I reckon. We'll talk about the Perez seat later, because otherwise we'll be here for about half an hour.
We're already almost half hour in. All right, so
true.
Let's go. We'll try to brief through these quickly then. Kevin Magnussen, P10, started 6th. He didn't really have a great race.
Another disappointing Haas performance.
Just typical Haas at this point, unfortunately. Just kept losing pace as the race went on, lost positions. He also got in a tangle with Pierre Gasly as well. So just unlucky there, typical Haas. Albon started 14th, finished 11th. He was on for a good result, I reckon. Unfortunately, he had a tangle with Sergio Perez, which in a way ruined his race.
I think the Williams team as a whole were not looking forward to this weekend. They thought it'd be like old times. But P11, that's not bad. That's so close to points. And Logan Sargent could have been higher up if he didn't have a tangle with the wall. So I reckon on a whole they did very well this weekend, despite not getting points.
Yeah, and also speaking of points, I want to point out that Magnussen literally only made it into the 10 because of Russell.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd come back to this, because did you hear his team radio when he crossed the line?
No.
Have you heard that? They literally almost celebrated like a championship, right? And I'm like, dude, you only got a point in the last 7 corners.
That's pretty sad. I mean, yeah, it's great.
That, but I don't think it's not even deserved.
But, they should be doing better by this point.
Yeah, and sure, points is, something you strive for each week, but it wasn't, you weren't meant to get those.
If it was Williams, it would be different.
But not only that, George crashed.
Yeah, I know.
With how many corners left? 2,
and you
3,
didn't finish
4,
where you started.
6. Yeah, you lost 4 positions. You only got a point because someone crashed with 6 corners to go. I mean, to me, I wouldn't have gone that crazy with the celebrations, but, points, and points are valuable, especially with the way they're going this season, and they're battling in the Constructors' Championship as well, so they need every point they can get. Anyway,
but
I just want to have a little rant about that.
But seriously, though, by this point, they should be doing better. There were a few promises earlier in the year and year before, and every year always seems to have a bit of promise, but just gets ruined, unfortunately, with poor results towards the end.
Yeah.
Who else? 12th. Zhou Guanyu started 19th, finished 12th. He had a bit of a quiet race, I reckon. I didn't see much of him.
Yeah, these days you don't see much of the Alfa Romeos, unfortunately.
No, but
it's his second attempt at the Singapore Grand Prix, and I think he's deserved his contract. I think he's outperformed Bottas a lot.
He has a lot, yes.
Last year wasn't as much; he was only a rookie. But this year, I think he's owned Bottas, to be honest.
No, well, he did. He got that. Was it Silverstone that he qualified 5th or something like that, or something?
Yeah, it was very good.
And Bottas, he hasn't. I don't think he's been near there at all for the year.
No, he hasn't gelled with this car at all. It just seems like he's literally driving the safety car at some points. It's not good.
And I hate to admit it, he looks like he's driving because he's getting paid to. The way he's driving, anyway.
Unfortunately, that's been like that ever since he left Mercedes, to be really honest. But more so now, definitely agree. Speaking of another Ferrari, Nico Hülkenberg, just like Kevin Magnussen, disappointing. He started 10th.
And he also...
was it 10th? No, 9th.
He started 9th. So, Haas,
Haas is so hard to do. They must spend an hour and a half minimal in their debriefs. Well, actually, probably I'm going to say 3 hours, because they're just so confusing. It's so weird. They do good 1 second. Their race is terrible. Their qualifying's great. And then, the qualifying's terrible. And their race is good. It's I don't know what's going on, with them. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens in the future rounds. But yeah, they're a very weird bunch, and I really hope that they continue to progress.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And where is he? Where's my notes? He was talking about he had a bit of a brake drama as well. Not like a severe one. I think it's just overheating and stuff like that, like everyone else. But he also lost ground in pit stop as well. I think he either double stacked or traffic. I honestly cannot remember.
No.
But disappointing anyway, overall.
Yeah.
Next one.
Logan Sargent, I reckon he had a race that could have been better. I mean, he got lucky all the retirements to finish 14th, but the fact of the matter is he is only how many seconds was it? 14 seconds behind Kevin Magnussen in points. And I think if he didn't have that crash with the wall, he would have been right behind Alex in the end. So,
oh yeah, yeah, of course. No, that that crash just destroyed any hopes of doing.
Yeah,
well.
Honestly, I'm actually surprised he finished the race because the F1 cars are very.
I'm actually really surprised he didn't cause more damage with the way the wing was positioned head back.
Yeah, no floor damage. That was surprising too. I mean, maybe he did have it, and they just pressed on. But
he has been making too many mistakes lately. Unfortunately, I know he's a rookie, but we're 16 races in. But then you look at Liam Lawson, third race, no mistake yet. It will come, but
in what I think is a worse car than the Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If it wasn't for Alpha, then AlphaTauri would probably be the worst at the moment.
Well, in the standings, they are AlphaTauri. Despite the points that Liam Lawson got, they're still 5 points behind Alfa Romeo. So
another thing I just want to point out about Liam. Yeah, one thing about Liam Lawson is because before him, I think AlphaTauri only had 3 points. So the fact that Liam got 2, he's already almost got more than them. It's pretty good. But next one is, I hate to say this, Fernando Alonso. Started 7th, finished 15th. The last of the finishes.
He did just follow everyone. He didn't follow the rules about keeping in the lines.
He went way too hot in there. Yeah, that's a rookie mistake. Considering how old he is and how experienced he is, that was a rookie mistake.
Yeah, 100%.
He wasn't fast enough this weekend, unfortunately, and not a good weekend overall for Aston.
And actually very expensive weekend for Aston.
Very, 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 and unfortunately. Mercedes have won that battle in terms of the constructors battle.
They've got in front.
But
they've lost that one there, haven't they? So it started very well for them this year, and it's kind of slowly, come back down to reality. I would say a little bit, but they should still finish 4th. They can't have too many of these because McLaren are behind them. They're behind them by good old 82 points ish.
Yeah, Aston's got 22.17. Mercedes got 139. Oh, McLaren's got 139.
Yeah, so I think they'll be secure in 4th, but
it all depends on how Stroll will go for the rest of the year. If he keeps performing the way,
he's going to keep going. He's racing this weekend, isn't he?
I think that's the reason. No, I think the reason why he didn't race this weekend was to be fit for this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is a smart decision considering it's Japan, but he's got to do better. And both of them got to do better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
the car has kind of slipped away from them since the beginning, though.
It has. They started off so freaking well.
Yeah, almost winning a few races. Anyway, that's the end of the field without
Yeah.
whoever finished. George Russell, Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, and Stroll never started.
Yeah.
I
Feel
mean, we
sorry
can
for Russell.
yeah. Russell, we feel sorry for. Bottas is slow as usual. Why did he DNF though?
Who, Bottas?
Yeah, something happened.
Overheating issues. So just
Ah,
precautions. They just chose to retire the car, which
sure.
is
Well, that's typical Alfa Romeo breaking
yeah,
down.
yeah, that's it. And Ocon, he
Ocon on the same
suffered
thing.
a gearbox problem.
Yeah,
And
which
Tsunoda, we never know. I don't think we'll ever know.
Tsunoda was a mystery damage. But yeah,
And
that's
Stroll
it.
didn't race. So
Stroll,
that was
yeah.
the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's have a quick look at the championship positions from 1 to 5. So once I find it, we have got Carlos.
Nothing's changed.
No, that's the race. I was going to say, sorry to excite people. Carlos Sainz is not leading the championship.
Nothing's changed in the top two.
I'll let you do it because I don't have it open.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, nothing's changed. Top two, they're the same. Verstappen over Perez by quite some margin. Lewis is now in third. He's been Mr. Consistent all year on 180 points, passing Fernando Alonso, who's on 170 after not scoring this week. Then we had the two Ferraris. Sainz is ahead of Leclerc. I think he already was after last week's race, or the Italian Grand Prix, I should say. Well, that's the top six. I've gone one over what you requested.
That's all right. We have to mention both Ferraris.
Actually, I want to keep going with the standings because Lando Norris...
Do top 10. Do top 10.
Okay. Lando Norris is only 12 points behind George Russell after that last lap calamity. So that's not over. Second best British driver battle is not over. Lance Stroll, actually, I didn't even know this. He is 9th, and Gasly is 10th. But I think that Mr. Australian Oscar Piastri will finish 10th. Actually, no, I reckon he'll finish 9th by the end of the year, to be honest.
Where's Piastri now?
11th, and only 3 points behind Gasly and 5 points behind Stroll.
I reckon keep an eye on him once he gets those upgrades Lando has.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a weapon. But let's have a quick look at the top 5 of constructors. We've got Red Bull leading the way still, and that's how it's going to be by the end of the year. Mercedes is 2nd, Ferrari is 3rd, Aston is 4th, and McLaren is in 5th.
How many races are left? Do like 7? 8? How many races are left?
I think there's 22 this year, so we're up to 16.
8.
8? Yeah, so there's still plenty of time for...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
Okay, 7, yeah. But, unfortunately, I think Red Bull's won it.
Yeah, Red Bull's definitely won it. It's more of a
Definitely
battle.
won it.
I think the closest battle now would be 2nd.
It's very close for Mercedes and Ferrari. But for Mercedes,
Yeah.
Ferrari, they just need to be consistent and work together.
Yeah, I think that's the only real change that can happen in the top 4. McLaren could surprise us. They are quite a bit behind Aston Martin. So as long as Alonso keeps finishing the points, that should be fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Stroll we
yeah,
can never
exactly.
rely on. So good for Williams for that 7th. Like, that is so good.
That is good, considering
That is
how
very
they've
good.
been the last couple of years.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
so
honestly
glad to see them
would
going
say, yeah, 100%. I would say they've almost secured that because Haas and Alfa Romeo look terrible. And I think AlphaTauri can maybe pass both of them, maybe. It'd be a bit lucky.
It also depends
yeah,
on how long Lawson will be there for. And
Well,
if
that's the thing,
Ricardo...
I think Ricardo's back this week. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I saw on Instagram they were doing a photo shoot and Lawson and Tsunoda were there. Didn't see Ricardo.
Okay, so maybe a bit
So
later.
maybe... Because I think I saw a couple weeks back that Ricardo probably won't be ready till October.
Wow, okay.
So I'd say after...
So what race would that be?
Let's have a look.
It'd be Qatar. Yeah, I did say that actually.
Yeah.
Qatar was the.
Yeah, either
that's
Qatar, but he'll definitely, I'm sure, be back for the US Grand Prix.
Yeah.
For sure. If he's not back
Yeah.
by then there's something wrong. But
100%.
because that's on the 20th of October, so that's a full month away. So he'll be fine by then. But I'd say Lawson might be able to get, if they have a good weekend this weekend, expect some points, I reckon.
Yeah, well,
I hope.
We'll see. I don't think this track will suit the AlphaTauri brilliantly, but we'll see. You never know.
Who knows? But I reckon Red Bull will probably get back on top again. I reckon this is just one of those
this track
unfortunate weekends.
Yeah, this track will definitely suit their car. And yeah, I would be surprised if they win again. Back to normal proceedings for the year. And then, honestly, I don't know what tracks that they'll lose at, to be brutally honest.
Vegas, who knows? We've never been there before, so very curious to see how that goes. But
Vegas, having my very experienced non-experience on the F1 game, is a very fast-paced track. So their straight line speed will dominate. Even though the Vegas track in the Vegas race is going to be the biggest spectacle probably in the US besides Super Bowl, it's going to be a snooze fest, I think.
I reckon. It's a lot of straight lines.
Yeah, like you get heaps of passing because the Vegas strip is like 1,000,000 miles long. But honestly, apart from that, I can't see. Like, no one's going to overtake the first sector alone. I don't know. Have you seen the track?
I haven't seen it properly. I haven't, because I don't have the game yet, so I haven't actually been able to play it or drive around it.
I'll give you a quick tip. The first sector is similar to the second sector of... Oh, no, that's a lie. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe... Okay, the first sector is like the first sector in Dubai, kind of. Abu Dhabi, sorry.
Yeah.
Similar to that, and then the second sector is a bit technical, and then the last sector is literally just two straights.
Yeah, I see.
So it's going to be... I don't think any overtaking is going to happen. Oh, maybe the first sector that's straight after turn 3. But, yeah.
That final sector, though.
The final sector is just going to be DRS. Like, I think Max... The thing is, actually, I say this, but this could actually be a track where cars keep up with the Red Bulls because of the fact that if they can stay within a second, it's going to be OP because the DRS zone is extremely long. Yeah, so possibly. I could be completely wrong. However, if the Max starts the first lap on pole, as we kind of predict, then he could literally just run away from him.
Oh yeah, by the third sector, he's already lapped the field.
He could be gone. Those first 2 laps without DRS, I reckon change the rules. I reckon have DRS open on the grid because he's going to be gone.
Just, you know what? Just crash. Just ban Verstappen. Yeah. Make him start last.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway,
put him in the AlphaTauri.
Should we
wrap it up. Yes. So let's wrap this up, and then because what I'll do, I'll just bits and pieces. So that is it for the Singapore Grand Prix. If you want, let me know in the comments how you feel about this race. If it was the best of the year, if it was boring, or if you're happy, or if you're sad, or whatever. But feel free to chuck in any comments there. Also, feel free to subscribe as well, or chuck a follow, or leave a like or anything. Of course, this is now available on not only YouTube and Spotify, but Google, iHeartRadio, Apple, and I think that's it. But thank you, Alex, for joining me for this F1 debrief. It's been an honour. And stay tuned for the Sandown 500 debrief, which will be coming out tomorrow. So that's all from us. Bye for now.